Greetings and welcome to episode 167 of the Words About Gamescast, a weekly video game podcast for Words About Games. Never guessed that I missed last week and got confused by numbers, that they're complicated. I'm your host, Sammy Alexander, and I'm joined this week by Keith Robertson. Podcast host extraordinaire.
Now in full HD.
Looks weird, man. There's colours in your room that I've never
There's more of the room than you've ever seen before. I'm gonna have to find a new how to narrow this down before we get the D&D, because otherwise you'll see all of the books spread out on my bed,
and we might be able to read them.
Wait, why is that book open at a red dragon? Oh
no. Oh no. Before I continue with saying anything that I wanted to say, thank you so very, very much for stepping in last week and hosting the podcast. You did a great job twice. And also a big thank you to Patrick for stepping in and being on the podcast twice.
Because there was an audio glitch.
There was.
Yeah.
Like I said just before that, it's not as easy as it looks. And I don't make it look easy. But it's even harder than that. How are you, actually? Let's do a how are you bit.
I've spent too long today on my PC, and I noticed because I'm getting that sort of pain in your right hand from using the mouse.
Yes, that pain. Ooh, that's not good. You shouldn't have to use the mouse at all today in this podcast of podcastiness. I think so. I just got my second last achievement on my road to 1000G on Resident Evil 2. Beat the game without using an item box. It was really annoying. As far as achievements go, that was probably more annoying than doing it without healing. Because when I couldn't heal, at least I had a rocket launcher. Whereas this was proper managing items to an insane degree. I've got the path down for the critical.
Yeah.
This was I have to go out of my way. I have to go and get these pouches so that because you can't discard your weapons, you can't discard key items until you've used them on all of the things. So I had the T pipe from the sewer for the entire run, because I couldn't be arsed from the sewers all the way at the end of the game, because I couldn't be arsed going round that corner to get past to open the last door with it. And I was like, fuck, I'll just carry it. But at the same time, I went all the way back to the police station just to get the two key things to put the thing to get the hip pouch without Mr. X chasing me all over the place. It was something else, but I don't know if I'm going to get the last achievement, man. I've reached a point 6 months later where I'm finally you know what, I'm good. I feel like I've played Resident Evil 2 enough.
I got that after completing Leon's run, the second Leon B thing, and just doing player one. I was kind of I could go back in, and I could go back in.
Yeah, it's I've got 980 out of 1000 because I'm not doing the DLC.
Yeah,
I was already I'm not gonna 1000G, and this is why one reason why PlayStation beats out Xbox, because my achievement score isn't going to be 100%, because they released DLC with 50 gamer score. And it's fuck you. If I beat Spider-Man Platinum trophy, do I have all the trophies? No, I don't, because I haven't done any of the DLC. But I still have the Platinum. It's still there. I can still point at that and be look guys, I have the Platinum trophy for Spider-Man. And what do I have for 95% I'm going to have for Resident Evil 2. Because I'm not playing the DLC. Anyway, for everybody who doesn't know about what the Words About Gamescast is, like Keith over there, we discuss 5 stories centered around... It's the same luck every time, I love it. How dare you. We discuss 5 stories centered around what's been going on in gaming, the games industry, and gaming culture over the past 7 days, before leaving you with a list of games out this week. There are definitely more than 2 that were out last week. This week,
Yeah, I think we did a deeper dive on last week's one just because there was two.
There was 2 games. This week, we discuss Nintendo's second new Switch model announcement and the class action lawsuit they're facing. Those 2 things aren't actually related. We check in with Fallout 76 to see how the latest patch has affected the game. We chat about Netflix's Witcher series after a new Comic-Con trailer drop. We break down June's NPD results, and we chat about Apex Legends' solution to cheaters. As always, timestamps are in the video description below on YouTube. If you want to watch this whole podcast backwards or in any order you feel like you can do it, it's cool. Just click, click, click. We don't really mind. But thank everything, like whatever higher power or higher entity there may or may not be in the cosmos of the world of the universe that we live in, that Netflix dropped a Witcher trailer at Comic-Con, because if they didn't, we were going to be talking about Gamer Girl bathwater. You got us with the last minute save. Thanks, Netflix. Shall we dive right in? Thumbs up, let's dive right in. We have a 2-part story. Nintendo announced another Switch model as they face class action lawsuit over JoyCons. Part 1 is from James Brightman over at Game Daily, and it's about the lawsuit. And it says, filed by plaintiff Ryan Diaz on July 19th, 2019 in the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Washington at Seattle. The suit alleges that a number of Nintendo Switch owners are experiencing drifting with the Joy-Con controllers. This means movements are being registered in games when the analog sticks are left untouched. If the drifting gets bad enough, it can render a Joy-Con practically useless. Diaz sent a faulty Joy-Con to Nintendo for repair under the 1-year warranty, only to experience drifting again a few months later. At that point, he said he would have had to pay for an out-of-pocket repair and decided to purchase 2 additional left and right Joy-Con controllers for $90. Diaz said the class represented in the suit alleged that Nintendo is fully aware of the drifting defect from its own pre-release testing and numerous online complaints received from its customers, and yet the company continues to fail to disclose the defect, I almost said deflect there, and routinely refuses to repair the joysticks without charge when the defect manifests, and never disclosed this material defect to consumers. The suit claims that Diaz's experiences are by no means isolated or outlying occurrences. Indeed, the internet is replete with examples of message boards and other websites where consumers have complained of the exact same Joy-Con defect. The class is seeking... It says class, and I know it's a class action lawsuit with loads of people. I just think of a school class. Like they're all putting their hands up. Also, this was a really ironic podcast to wear my new Nintendo t-shirt for the first time. The class is seeking monetary relief for damages suffered, declaratory relief as to the parties' rights under defendant's warranty, and public injunctive relief. One key issue in the suit that may be hard to prove is whether there is actually a problem with the Joy-Con design. This is a quote I pulled. There's loads more at GameDaily.biz. Yeah. But I pulled 2 quotes specifically from lawyers. The first one is Brandon J. Huffman, attorney with Odin Law and Media. Odin looked great. Fantastic. Quote, the fact that this issue is happening does not prove why it is happening. Is there a design defect? Or did these people just not take great care of a sophisticated piece of electronic equipment? I have had the drifting issue personally on the left Joy-Con, but I have always just assumed it is because I sometimes toss my Switch in my bag without much regard for what is putting pressure on it, etc. End quote. And the second interesting quote was from Richard Hogue, attorney at Hogue Law, who agreed with Huffman's assessment for the most part, but added, quote, should Nintendo worry about it? The answer is yes. This will be bad publicity for them and their Switch product, especially with a new one on the way and the holidays around the corner, and it would behoove them to make it go away. The plaintiff's attorney knows this. This is how the class action litigation boutique model works. So I would expect them to settle if they can't get it immediately kicked out of court with prejudice. End quote. When they kick it out of court with prejudice, does that mean they just shout at it? Bounces down the courthouse
they literally boot it through a window, which has to be replaced multiple times a day. And the case looks like lands like 2 floors below on one of those sort of like big like air blanket things, so they don't get sued. And then a new window's put over, and then like, the next case gets kicked through it.
Cool. It's just a guy in court, like in The Simpsons. He's just a giant boot. He's just booting cases out the window. I get it now. Yeah. I get it. Thoughts on this?
I've heard of people complaining about like drifting on the controllers before. I'm not sure where it was, so it's entirely possible it was you
It could have been.
complaining about.
I've had this problem. Was it last year when I was playing Octopath Traveler? And yeah, it got pretty bad. It was my left Joy-Con, so it was my movement Joy-Con. Fantastic. So I've been playing Octopath Traveler. I think some of this footage might have ended up in the video that I put out for Octopath Traveler. Or it's like, my character would just start going left, just start going left, or I'd be like running up, say, like a bridge or something, and and I'd just start leaning on the left. It was a problem. Like, I replaced the Joy-Cons, and then I don't use Joy-Cons very often.
Yeah.
Like, I got a wired controller because I don't like Joy-Cons anyway.
My Switch gets used like, I mean, it got used today for a bit, but it gets used like 2 times a week maybe when like I like a family member will visit, and they're not really talking to me, so I'll sit in the living room and make comments while playing Dead Cells.
Nice.
I'm not an antisocial.
I mean, I do love that.
I'm in the room. I'm kind of listening, but I'm doing something else.
Kind of
I'm not
listening,
giving everyone.
but you're also trying to clear that goddamn first boss cell.
Yeah, I got to the. Oh, I've gotten past Concierge.
First boss. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
the
been a
one
while.
with Black Ridge. Gone past him, and I got like 2 zones later. But it's just these invisible guys with the knives with the poison on are really annoying. And then I got to like another level after that, and it's like, oh wait, it's like one hit takes half my like 3,000 health.
Yep. Yeah, it's a bitch of a game. You got to be really careful when you get to the last level, like before the end boss. Concierge is a better boss to fight than Conjunct. I hate Conjunctivitis.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of conjunctivitis. And the guy in the clock tower is really easy.
The guy in the clock tower is so easy because by the time we get to him, he's so OP. It's like, oh, come at me, bro.
It's like, I've entered Zen mode.
The last boss is a dick though.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's talk about Joy-Cons. You might have heard this from Kotaku, because I had this problem last year, and I thought, fuck, I've broke my Joy-Con, right? Because I don't think this was a massively well-known problem. I feel like I read about it on Kotaku. I can't remember who wrote about it, but I think it was Heather Alexandra, who wrote the article. I might be wrong about that. And she was saying like 4 people at Kotaku have been having this problem with drifting. It might have something to do with the way the controllers communicate with the Switch. I'm not technically minded, so I don't know whether that could be accurate or not. But the fact that 4 people at one place are having that problem, and then I feel like that I read that this week just gone, and then this popped up, like towards the end of the week. So I was like, oh shit, it came on really fast to me. But
I mean,
put the pieces
let's face it. The Switch is a technological marvel, really, when you think about it, what it does. And given all of like the crap we said about it when it was coming out, it's like this sounds horrible, this sounds impractical and everything.
But I like the idea. I was down on the launch lineup.
Yeah. We all were. But I'm just thinking back to those original patent images that we saw,
where it was like the oval and the screen was also the controller. Yeah, no, I shit all over that, but obviously that was fake. So.
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me that there's been an issue with the Switch. It surprises me it's A, something to do with the controls, and B, it's kind of minor. I know it can be really expensive and really annoying, but with the sort of things that we see with the launch of, say, a new line of phones, which have got like the same. Oh, it's got to have this really long battery life. It's got to have the touch screens and everything. The fact that we've had no cases of like switches blowing up.
I was going to
in
say,
people's
like,
backpacks or.
Okay, yeah, sure. If you're comparing the Switch to that Samsung phone that exploded, then yeah, sure, it's quite minor. But
bends or
the bendy one was their own fault because they made the really thin phone. It was like it bends in people's legs aren't straight. Fuck, man, what the fuck? But no, the like it's not. I don't know if it's a minor problem. Like it's not a minor problem if you get afflicted with it, because like if your left Joy-Con starts to drift, like imagine you're playing like Zelda or Mario. Imagine you playing Mario and you're trying to do all this platforming, and your left Joy-Cons just drift. It's not easy to play.
No.
Even if your right Joy-Con drifts, because the camera will just be like, "Wow, what's over there?" And you'll be like, "No, I don't want to know what's over there." And you know, like Joy-Cons are the most expensive non-elite, like non-pro level controllers on the market, because like DualShock 4s and standard Xbox controllers are. Even you can buy a controller on fucking Game Lab and get a fancy custom colored controller, and it's still cheaper than buying a pair of Joy-Cons. I don't know. Like, I'm not pissed. Like, well, I'm as pissed as I was like when my Xbox red ringed. Like, I got replaced. Like, if Nintendo like just need to upgrade their Joy-Cons so they don't do this, and like, on it to replace people's joysticks, because you don't need to replace the whole Joy-Con. Just replace a joystick. Boom. Done. But, what do I know about business? What do Nintendo know about business? Because, Keith, this might be deja vu to you, but Nintendo have announced a new Nintendo Switch model that will have a longer battery life. This is from Tom Phillips over Eurogamer, and I have many questions. But he's written...
I feel like I've heard this before.
You haven't.
Right.
Yeah. You heard something similar last week. Nintendo has at last confirmed a new version of its standard Switch console, with word of an upcoming refresh which features significantly longer battery life. It launches in Japan in late August. This new model, still just named Nintendo Switch, will boast anywhere from 4.5 to 9 hours of battery depending on the game you play. For Zelda Breath of the Wild, you'll get 5.5 hours of play, for example. That compares to just 2.5 to 6.5 hours of battery for the current standard Nintendo Switch model, which is about 3 hours for Zelda. And it's more than the recently revealed upcoming Nintendo Switch Lite, which clocks in with 3 to 7 hours of battery, or 4 for Zelda. Then there was an update which basically just said it's coming in September in the UK. And I put a note in because they announced 2 new sets of Joy-Cons alongside this. So there's going to be purple, orange, and there's going to be blue and yellow. And the purple one looks really nice. I'm not so keen on the orange. I have any questions about this. I'm gonna go with the most obvious one for starters, like, because I know the answer to this question from a technical standpoint, like, but at the same time, like, why would you? So you've just announced a portable Nintendo Switch Lite.
Yeah.
Which is designed to be purely portable. Doesn't have a dock, doesn't have an HDMI out. It's a handheld. And then you announce where it's slightly improving the base model, we'll call it. The one that does dock, the one that does have an HDMI out, the one that is a console and a handheld. And we're giving the more improved battery life to the one that's going to sit in a dock sometimes, versus the one that's portable and will always be running off of its battery. Like, I guess, I mean, I know why, but at the same time, why?
It's probably due to the battery size, because they made the portable one smaller.
Yeah.
So I've got to assume it's like when they learned to make the battery smaller, they've probably learned how to make like a better battery the same size as the original one.
Right, but I don't get, like, if I wanted a portable Nintendo Switch now, though, like, yeah, I know there's $100 price difference. I don't know what the difference is in the UK yet. It's like, well, I want the one that's going to last longer, like, because I'm going to be playing it away from my plug over there that I use to charge all of my devices. Like, it will be out in the wild. Breath of the Wild.
It will be free.
It will run free. No, it won't. I hope not. Anyway, otherwise it means I've dropped it out a window or something.
When you the first computer you've dropped out a window?
No, I won't. So I get it. The battery's bigger in the Switch the new Switch base model. It's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, I get what the technical reasons for it, but also why, Nintendo? Why did you just? My second question has to do with how they've announced these models. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Like, I have a habit of misremembering a lot of things, but didn't we just have a massive gaming consumer trade show a month ago? Like, my YouTube channel with all these weird reaction videos on it that are really long say that we did.
Yeah.
You know, when everybody's paying attention to what's happening at these things. Like, E3 is the one time of year where even casual gamers are paying attention to, like, what's the biggest news that's coming out of it. Like, everybody knows Keanu was at E3, right? Like, that's just everybody. Like, people, I've got a friend who has a PlayStation 4 and plays this little free-to-play game where you're a tank. Like, and that's all he plays on it, like, for the last, like, few months. Like, even he knew Keanu was at E3. Like, but they waited a month to do a 6-minute Nintendo Direct saying, here's the Nintendo Switch Lite. And then they waited another week after that to be like, by the way, we've got this too. Like, at the very least, could they not have been the same Direct?
They must have wanted to overshadow.
What are they going to overshadow? Like, what could have been overshadowed by this announcement? Like, they couldn't have overshadowed each other. Like, and they can't use the excuse, oh, we were just trying not to confuse people, because you just released a friggin' Nintendo Switch console that doesn't switch. Like, it doesn't do the thing.
Yeah, it should probably be called the Nintendo 3DS Mark IV or something.
No, that would have been worse. Like, I get that they called it the Switch because the Switch is just the family of things, like, that is associated with Nintendo. Just, also, I can't really, like, it doesn't switch, so you can't really go down the route of, oh, we want it to offer, like, everything Nintendo does confuses people.
The Nintendo Switchback.
The Nintendo, what's the opposite of Switch?
Stick.
Stick. The Nintendo Stick. That's a terrible name for a console.
Yeah.
Jesus. That is god awful. Do you have any thoughts on this Nintendo Switch?
I mean,
1.1?
No, I mean, it's like, it's not like all of the console makers do this where they improve their equipment. It's not like
it's not a Pro on Xbox One X.
Yeah. It's not designed to work on a better TV. It's designed to be a better portable Switch. I get that. I have no problem with that.
It's like the DualShock 4.
JoyCons? I'm waiting for the Joy-Con Lab.
Yeah, it's like the DualShock 4 where they released the new model with the touch bar and the improved analog stick rubbers. Like, it's just a very small hardware revision. Speaking of the Joy-Con Lab, when are Nintendo going to let us just mix and match Joy-Cons? Like, I mean, you've got, like, I love the purple, looks fucking stunning. Did a Babylon 5 reference.
Fair enough. I need to watch that again.
The purple looks stunning. I'm not keen on the orange. If I could swap that orange out for, say, a red, or another purple, or a pink, like, I would be really happy with that. But it comes in a bundle with the orange one. And if they sell it separately, like, if you buy two Joy-Cons separately, like, two different SKUs, you're essentially, but you paying more money for it. Just let me, like, go onto the web. Just let me go onto the Nintendo store and be like, I want to buy some Joy-Cons. Okay, which one do you want your left one to be? That color. Okay, which one do you want your right one to be? That color. And then Nintendo goes, no problem, we'll ship that to you in 3 to 5 business days.
There is, I'm trying to remember what the site is. Probably shouldn't give people free business though. And it's a non-official cover maker, and it's really fast. It's like, oh, I'll click. I want the front be one color of my controller, one color. I want my back to be a different one. I'll get a different total grip. I get different buttons, so like just like symbols or whatever. I'll change the color of the little front face button. Oh, I'll do the pattern all across it, so it's like it's green with like black vines going all the way across it. Or has dragons or something like that. Yeah, it costs quite a bit. It's like if you get the controller to go with it and stuff that's done for you, it's even more expensive. But they look really nice.
They do.
I just don't understand why we haven't got like an official version for the Nintendo one yet.
I don't know, but we said it before in this podcast. We'll say it again multiple times. Nintendo's weird when it comes to just stuff. Like, I mean, just in the recent past, it was like they weren't gonna let friends play it together in Mario Maker 2. Like, they're weird about the weirdest things. Like, Xbox has Design Lab, PlayStation puts out like a million different colors of their controllers, and I don't need to mix and match them because it's one controller. Like, it's not like I don't even want like a Design Lab would be amazing. But like I'm not even really bothered like about having a Design Lab. I just want the ability to buy two fucking JoyCons of like whichever color I choose without having to spend extra money. Like, and without having to go to like a second-hand store that sells singles. Because I don't really want second-hand Joy-Cons, especially if drifting is a thing.
Yeah.
Like, which clearly is. So are we done with Nintendo?
I mean, we're done with this topic of Nintendo. I mean, kind of thinking about buying Luigi's Mansion. But yeah.
I mean, yeah, until Link's Awakening. Oh no, wait, until Fire Emblem comes out on Friday. I just saw what the next one was.
Yeah.
I went on a journey.
Yeah.
With this news story. So the title I've written is Unofficial but Comprehensive Bug Roundup of Fallout 76 Patch 11. So this is the title of a Reddit thread on the Fallout 76 subreddit. So what happened was, I saw a news story. Patricia Hernandez over at Polygon wrote this cool little news story about basically everybody's getting mad at Fallout 76 because they did patch 11, and it might be the worst patch yet. That wasn't the release version of the game. It's broken so much stuff, and the story was like. She had a couple of examples, and they were really good examples. But then she said, here is, all of this is being compiled over at Reddit, if you want to check the full list. And I was like, I'll check the full list, because, maybe I can add a couple of really interesting ones. And I clicked it, and I was scrolling through it, and I've not laughed so much.
I didn't read these until right now, because I want to be surprised. And I just glanced at a couple of them, and it kind of reminded me of that list of broken promises when we did that Star Citizen specials, and you decided to scrap the last half of the podcast so it could just keep going through the list.
So we could just keep doing it. I haven't laughed so much as when I was because not only was I reading these, because at some point I decided to delete the story and just be like, I'm just going to make a bullet list of all the stuff that's on here. And in transferring them from Reddit to the Google Doc that we use for the podcast, it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was just in fucking bits. I just watched the Witcher trailer. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. So, some games, when they release a patch, they have patch notes. This game has a bug list. Thank you to everybody over on the Fallout 76 subreddit who has put this together. If I managed to make it through this without So, below, here we go. Patch, the unofficial but comprehensive bug roundup of Fallout 76, patch 11. Starts now. AP drain from sprinting or dodgy, not sure what that means, will continue if Pip-Boy is opened while either is happening. Amazing. That's great. That's a good start. I feel like we're off to a strong start. Sneak is broken. No matter how effectively sneak effects are stacked, it has zero impact at all in how well you can hide from NPCs or the total distance they detect the player. This next one's an Xbox bug. Game volume is very low once world loads. Plugging in a headset is required to return volume to normal. I don't know how that fucking works. But
yeah.
Okay. This is a good one. This is a good one. Atomic Shop, which is the microtransaction store. So there's a greenhouse in the Atomic Shop. Atomic Shop greenhouse is unusable and falsely advertised. It will not place properly, has no snap points that work consistently, foundations will not snap, can't be placed on foundations, does not trigger grass/foliage clearing, and this is my favourite part, you cannot place crops inside it, making it a dome, not a greenhouse. This is a thing on that cash shop that you pay money for. Atomic Shop white picket fence has all the same placement issues. It doesn't snap to anything. It doesn't snap to the foundations. This one's one of my favourites. Removing a foundation from under your camp will cause a server crash. Not just your game. If you take a foundation from underneath your camp, the whole server goes down. Reports of duplicate items from simply removing items from the stash, i.e. removing an item from your stash won't lower the item count still in stash. That's quite serious because Bethesda have banned people for duplicating items in the past. Unable to build objects from camp menu regardless of requirements. Legendary drop rates have dropped to 0 in some instances. Legendary NPC spawn rates have been reduced, sometimes also to 0. NPC corpses are vanishing almost instantly. This was a bug introduced in patch 9 and has now gotten worse. NPCs not registering damage from high damage/high rate of fire weapons. Initial damage not registering up to first 4 melee strikes or rate of fire weapon shots. Multiple death zones are being reported. Multiple reports of areas that cause instant death. The very odd thing is, it's happening for one character but not another. Stranger still, once you enter the death field, some cannot leave until logging out.
I'm going to continue from a moment while Amy recovers. After leaving power armor, players' heads will not render. Excavate the power armor. Weight bonus is erratic. Sprinting in power armor, then opening the map Pip-Boy keeps AP draining. Multiple reports of characters in game freezing upon attempting to enter power armor. Power armor corpses around the map are no longer wearing any power armor, just the frame.
Okay.
Power armor pieces are unequipping on every server hop, log out, or change of game mode.
I'm back. I think I can do it. Armor pieces vanishing after logging out. By the way, if anybody wonders, we're about halfway through. Quests not reporting completion or showing status updates in the player HUD. Quest notifications don't show up. Completion, XP, and rewards are not showing, etc. Changing weapon via Quick Wheel or Pip-Boy is causing the game to freeze/lag. Changing weapon via Quick Wheel is causing the game to crash. No option to trade, invite a team, etc. until fast traveling or logging out. Opening the social tab while renaming an object will lock you in the menus, but opening the social tab with a large list of friends freezes or crashes the game. Unable to scroll or otherwise interact with NPC or vending machine inventory. Heavy weapons crosshair fix has been removed from game. Audio glitch has not been fixed. 2 patches back-to-back have claimed to resolve the issue. Sentry bots, especially around White Springs Resort, frequently end up in an audio loop. Audio loop is still impacting performance and causing crashes. Damage bug appears to be back in force, primarily centering on bloodied weapons, sneak attacks, explosive weapons. NPCs take a small amount of damage, then shoot up to full health. Nav mesh updates, intentional or otherwise, appear to have created multiple holes in the world. Example, previously ghoul corpses would drop below the stairs at White Springs Cottages. Now living ghouls are getting stuck under the stairs and building. And the last one is there's a long-running PvP exploit in survival mode that's still unresolved. I'm sorry. I knew the one that was going to get me was the thing where it was like multiple death zones being reported.
As you said, death zone was like, this is the place I'm going to enter. And I was also, just in the back of my head, it goes, and how would you describe zone of death?
Zone of instant death. Like, if you go, again, thanks to everybody who put this thread together on the Fallout 76 subreddit. If you actually go over there, like, it goes into more detail on each of the bugs, and there's tons of examples. I highly recommend checking out some of them, such as the people who are getting decapitated upon leaving a power armor. And the instant death zones are incredible. Just 1 minute you're alive, and the next minute you're dead. Just like that.
I don't feel good unless this time.
Thoughts?
The game appears to have some issues.
Again, the game appears to have some issues again.
When did it come out again?
November last year. It came out in about that state, to be honest.
I remember.
There's a lot of different bugs. T-posing enemies, skiing enemies, black and white. The creeping black and white bug, which I never found a name for that.
Yeah, all the colours just leeches out of the world.
Slowly leeches out of the world around you. God rays coming out of the ground. At what point do you not just bail? If you're a fan of this game, I get it, right? Cool, you're a fan. Like, people can like whatever they like. I didn't like Fallout 76 for many reasons. Bugs were one of them. But at what point are you, like, 9 months down the line and the latest patches just introduced fields of instant death where you might just walk around a corner and die and then get stuck until you log out? Or crash the entire server because you moved some foundation. Like, not just the game, the entire server. So anyone else playing is just like, boom, there it's gone. What the fuck happened? And there's just some guy who's just like, fuck. Like, Jesus Christ. Can this... They came out and at E3 and Todd was very unapologetic. Apologetically unapologetic, I guess. Fuck yeah, we fought Battle Royale, Fallout 76. But now we're a month removed and it's the same shit show all over again. Like, can this game be fixed? Can this game be fixed at this point? Because it seems like
there's a lot of possibility of it being fixed. It's just a diminishing return. I mean, there's already been a lot of people put off from this game. There were people, I don't know how it went, but they were going to try and sue Bethesda for just false advertising or releasing a broken product.
The false advertising thing we just kind of dismissed it when it came up, but I guess it kind of has legs now because Todd did come out before E3 and basically said we did the thing on the podcast where he basically came out and was like, oh yeah, we knew it was going to be broken when we launched it, but we knew we could fix it. I mean, evidence to the contrary being the last 9 months, but yeah, that does interest me. I'd have to look. I want to look back into that. I don't know if this game can be like salvaged. They constantly they need, the first thing Bethesda need to do is learn how to do version control and make sure everybody's working on the same version of the game, because this isn't the first time we've done one of these stories on the podcast, and a lot of the bugs are, this is a bug that was fixed and has now been reintroduced because somebody's been working on an older version of the game and the bugs just come back because it was in that older version of the game. Like, that's like fucking, I know like developing video games is really difficult, but that's like gotta be like when you're making an online game that's constantly being updated, like that's gotta be like foundational. Like, make sure everybody's working on the same patch. I know I said we would never do a story like this again, but you read
a little slow news week.
You read that list though, and it's just like, I need a good laugh. Like, I'm sorry to laugh at the misfortunes of the people who are playing Fallout 76 and the people who are making Fallout 76, but instant death zones. Like, how does that even get in your game, Bethesda? Like, how? I'm very curious to know. One day, Jason Schreier is going to have a hell of a story. He could do an entire book just on Fallout 76. I hope one day he does, because that's going to be an amazing book. He is working on his new book, which is probably why it's a slow news week.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I am looking forward to, though, and I might actually re-download the game. If they're breaking the game this much, now, when they introduce the new big update with the NPCs and the quest lines.
Yeah.
We may be revisiting this this topic.
I wanted to be re-listening to this like topic like times. Like, however, when Fallout, as you all know, when Fallout launched, it accidentally triggered DEFCON 1 in America, and we all live in Fallout.
And now Fallout is reality. Keith, it's Comic-Con. Comic-Con
Apparently.
is happening. Right now there is a panel going on and Patrick Stewart's on the stage and I don't know what's happening because I'm recording this podcast. But I can be patient. There was a Witcher trailer release by Netflix. I'm hoping you watched it.
I have seen it twice.
Thank God. So yeah, what are your thoughts of the trailer for the Witcher?
I mean, it's not as if, I like The Witcher. I mean, I've read the books.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, there's no Witcher like memorabilia behind me anywhere.
Yeah. See, I remember a while back, and this is something that you probably won't have gotten from the trailer, because you've never read the books, have you? You've only dealt with the games. The games pick up, or at least the second one does, after the books have ended. Before that book, but that book set before the events of the last one. And everything I saw in the trailers was unlike a previous announcement, which suggested that the series would be set after, like, the book's last game, like The Witcher 3. Everything I saw on that leads me to believe that they're basically doing the Witcher series from The Last Wish, which is the first sort of like collection of stories, onwards, because it's all got to do with Ciri, and there's stuff in it which is like you obviously see Yennefer before she becomes like sorceress and corrects her deformities. You get to see what looks like Geralt's doing some random Witcher stuff, but also stuff where it looks like it's just before Ciri's born, and then there's a bit where there's a character in it, obviously who's going to be Ciri, although from the scenes that she's in, she looks too old because she should be. What's the name of the younger Stark sister in Game of Thrones?
Arya.
I thought it was that. I wasn't so sure. She should be sort of Arya's age in some of those scenes, and then sort of Sansa's age in the later books, because a little older than Sansa was at the end of Game of Thrones, I think, because she's like 15, 16 and suffered a lot. And I remember saying, I don't know if you remember this, but it's like, if The Witcher is going to be a true recount of the books, that's really cool, but I don't know if I can stomach that. Because, man, does Ciri suffer, like, horrific things.
Yeah, I'm looking forward
It's
to
like,
seeing
oh,
that.
yeah, like, in the game's like, oh, yeah, it's like nudity, it's like, it's violent, it's monsters, it's like, it's Game of Thrones, but with more monsters and stuff. It's like, yeah, but it's also the horrendous things happening to good people.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like a character you're trying to like really get enamored with and stuff, doing some really horrible things in that sort of like teen. Yeah, so it's like
Everybody does things they're not proud of when they're teenagers.
yeah. I don't want to give any spoilers because I was about to go.
No,
yeah,
don't.
but you never. And I'm like no, because if they are doing it, I don't want to spoil stuff for like what would be like.
Thank you. I made it through all the first however many seasons of Game of Thrones it was without getting any book spoilers.
Yeah.
And I would like to do the same with The Witcher if they are indeed adapting the books. Like I knew from the showrunner, Lauren, I want to say Hirsch. I don't know if that's right. That could be somebody else entirely. I know that from an interview with her that they weren't doing the that it was more to do with the books than the games, which is fine because I've played the games. I don't need to see the games. Like, like I've already seen them because I played all three. It looked really cool. Like as somebody who doesn't know anything really about the books that wasn't touched on in the games. Like you mentioned The Last Wish, and I was like, there's a whole quest called that in The Witcher 3. Like I remember that quest.
Yeah, that's what he called the first book of stories about The Witcher and stuff. It's called The Last Wish.
But like, so for me, I'm coming at it from a different sort of more naive perspective. or but less informed perspective, just being like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna watch this shit. Henry Cavill looks fucking awesome, like as Geralt.
I felt a little sort of disgust. Like I was looking at him, it's like he doesn't have the scar. He looks kind of like a good person if someone saw playing Conan the Barbarian, and not sort of like. It's just I don't know if it was the hair or not when he was like had his top off. It's like
I mean, as from what I could see on Twitter, that was one of the best parts of the trailer for some people.
yeah,
Like for me, it was a case of Henry Cavill. He was in that one spy movie that I saw the trailer for and I didn't watch because it didn't look very good. Man from U.N.C.L.E. might have been, and
oh yeah,
basically he was Superman. As far as I'm concerned, Henry Cavill was Superman. So I'm Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Justice League, and so it was like, and then he's going to be the Witcher, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to unsee him as Superman to be Geralt of Rivia. And like I watched the trailer and I was like, I feel better now. Like I feel a lot better now. Like about it was like what? How long was the trailer? It was only like it was less than 2 minutes. I want to say.
yeah. It wasn't that long. I mean, when I rewatched it, I realized who some of the characters and some of the people were.
Yeah, it's like
It's
I still wasn't clear on who some people actually were in the trailer.
Yeah, it's like, and I was watching the thing. It's like, who are these random people in the forest? And it's like, oh, it's a dryad. But then it's like you would have no idea who they are because they don't appear in the.
Like the story that they were telling at the beginning of the trailer is cool about like the magic. The elves taught them magic, and then they fucking murdered everybody else. Like that was in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in the set. Wasn't I actually remember any of that in the third game? Now that I think about it, but it was definitely in the second game.
There is it's. I've only played like the first part of the second game, and it seems to be much heavier in the second game than the third one. There is a lot of like racism and there's stuff about that. When you go up north and stuff, there are a lot of racist arseholes who are like stringing up
that was like
non-human.
That was a big part of the first game, and it was a huge part of the second game, like the main sort of story of the second game. Then the third game was all about Ciri and the Wild Hunt. Wild Hunt were cool. I'd love to see the Wild Hunt in the series at some point. I fucking love them. The other thing that stood out for me was like, because from like the first scene where I was like, cool, like that's my sort of toehold, like of like I understand this, and then it goes through the rest of the thing, and apart from shirtless Geralt, I'm like, I don't know who any of these people are. I don't know what the fuck's happening. It looks really cool though. Is that the guy who? Is that the king guy who was played by Charles Dance in The Witcher 3?
Like
that's Yennefer.
Like,
I knew who Yennefer was.
I know who that team. I know who that team is. Like it's like that. And the opposite thing. I'm like, it's like the second time I wanted to watch it because I was watching at the stand. I was like, that's the Brokenwood Dryads, which totally makes sense if they're doing serious storyline. And then it's like that's and then they're like that I can't remember what it's called, but the spider thing comes out the water and it's like it cuts and like Geralt's got the black eyes.
That's where I got back.
They're doing the whole mutagens and the alchemy stuff. That sounds cool.
Yeah, so that's where I came back into it of like, because don't get me wrong, the trailer, like the mid part of the trailer, I was still like, this does look really cool. Like, it's like I'm watching a trailer for something I've never seen. Like, pick a TV show that's coming out this fall that I haven't seen and isn't adapted from anything, and it's the same sort of experience apart from that first bit, and then the last bit, which was fucking awesome, when the big fucking spider thing comes out of the lake, and then you just see Geralt and he's got the fucking blacked out eyes, and it's like, yeah, he's done the fucking potions and shit. I was just like, why isn't this coming to Netflix like tomorrow, so I could just binge the shit out of it?
I mean, I'll say it's like I don't know if I'd have the stomach for like seeing all of the books made into games and stuff, but there are stuff I would love just to come back in to see. Like when he's got the whole company of his friends around him who are the weirdest group of misfits ever, and the fact that they're going south during the middle of a war between North Carolina and the North, and it's just like, yeah, okay. And they have I won't say who they are and stuff, but Dandelion's one of them, and he's not the oddest member of the group.
I love Dandelion.
Yeah, Dandelion's awesome.
Dandelion's great. And the dwarf dude, he's with him as well. Shit, I can't remember his name now.
Don't think he was in the company.
I don't know if he was in any company. I know he was in the game.
There's dwarves, like, there's a dwarf he keeps meeting in the stories, but the stories take place over years, because obviously it's like the Last Wish and stuff. It's like part of that's done with Ciri's not born for that. It's like her parents, kind of, the one who will open stuff, and the witch has brought into deal with some of it. So it's before like Ciri's even born. So I don't know how far like back they're going. Or if they'll just do like a flashback.
Yeah,
to that
I was
bit,
going to say maybe they're flashbacks.
Yeah,
like, that seems like good.
You only ever like hear of Yennefer being like the hunchback and stuff in the past tense. It's nothing you ever see because she's like what, I don't know, 100 by the time she meets Geralt.
It makes sense because like as much as it like you're saying like takes place over the course of years and stuff, it's like all the actors, like it becomes like a production / business thing where it's like all the actors have contracts to be in number of episodes. It's like gotta have such and such in, because I mean I know Ciri's in it, I know Yennefer's in it, I know Geralt's in it, and then I know Roach is in it as well.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all these people.
There's probably going to be that thing which is like mentioned in the book, because there are many horses called Roach. He always calls his horses called Roach. Not all of them make it to the. There isn't one horse who of it. No, it's canonically many horses called.
I hope that there's like an Easter egg in the TV show where like Geralt's looking for Roach and he's just on the roof of a building or something. And he's just like, how did you get up there? Like just once. They just have to do it once. Just for like all the people who were like Witcher 3 who played Witcher 3 and like
There are moments in the books where Dandelion keeps taking the piss out of Geralt for calling his horse Roach, and Dandelion's horse is always called Pegasus.
Yeah.
And there's more than one of them as well, because they lose their horses so many times.
Yeah. So like, I'm really hyped for this. It'll probably get me to resubscribe to Netflix.
I keep forgetting.
I'll subscribe like a week early so I can watch Castlevania because I still have more season 2. But video game adaptations are taking a turn for the best.
Amazing.
Yes, it is. But ain't no Castlevania where we're going, Keith, because we're going to the NPD June 2019 breakdown, which came out 5 days earlier than normal, which meant we get to talk about it today. The top 10 best-selling games of June 2019 are number 1, Super Mario Maker 2, number 2, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, and then everything else was didn't come out in June. Mortal Kombat 11 is number 3, Grand Theft Auto 5 is number 4.
Who sold their soul for that? Seriously?
How's it not been replaced by Red Dead? Like, that was the whole thing. That was what's supposed to happen.
How did it outsell Red Dead Redemption? It's what, 15 years?
It's 62 years old. 5, Minecraft. 6, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. 7, Marvel Spider-Man. 8, NBA 2K19. 9, Mario Kart 8. Go Mario Kart. 10, Days Gone. So the obvious question, obviously Mario Maker 2 beat Crash Team Racing. Are you surprised that Mario Maker 2 beat Crash Team Racing? Given how much Crash Bandicoot sold back in 2017, and given that it's on 3 platforms as opposed to...
No. I mean, I've seen the marketing for Crash Team Racing online. I'm pretty sure everyone does. Super Mario Maker 2, though, it just had so much weight behind it. I mean, I've seen the standees that came out for it. I've seen the stuff online. The fact that I was seeing like 15 to 10-minute videos, which were adverts on YouTube for Mario Maker, which kind of show you how to make levels and stuff for it.
Nice.
There was that level that I linked you in on Facebook.
The 1-1 with all the fire swinging spinnies.
Yeah, that I just kept seeing that getting redone and retweeted and everything, because there were some insane things. And then you came around the other night and we watched.
I watched Donkey's videos.
Yeah, it's like I'm blindfolded as I do this. What? My little brother took to control the controller. I don't have a.
The House of a Thousand Nightmares.
Yeah.
It's a great video. He's literally like, just as we sat, like, yeah, how do you delete other people's levels? Just as we sat down to record this podcast, he's literally released another video, another Mario Maker video, and that's kind of.
I did love the 0% completion, and then he's like goes through and there's like 3 hours or something he spends trying to do this one level, and then he's the first person ever to complete it, and he's just like,
yeah,
not too bad or something.
Yeah, it was a little easy. It's such a great video. I showed it to a friend of mine because you weren't the only one who linked me that video of the anxiety level. And somebody else had linked it to me, and so I sent him Donkey's video, and he apparently loved the last bit. But no, like, this is, for me, Mario Maker's it's benefiting from the same thing that Monster Hunter benefited from last year, which was, it doesn't have the biggest marketing push per se, but a lot of people are talking about it, and it's gone beyond just the launch weekend sort of buzz. Because, like, a lot of new games, whether they're good or bad, they get the launch weekend buzz. Like, a ton of people are talking about it because it's the newest thing and everybody's playing it for the first time. Whereas Mario Maker, no one stopped talking about it. Like, you're still seeing loads of levels being shared. People are still making videos. People are still streaming the game on Twitch because there's all sorts of cool new stuff in the game. And, like, people are still, like, sharing levels and making levels. And, like, it's the phenomenon that the first game could have been if it hadn't have released on the Wii U.
Yeah.
And I love that. That's what I was hoping for. For Mario Maker 2. It's why it was one of my most anticipated games of the year. Obligatory, he was still buying GTA 5. Keith covered that.
Yeah.
Days Gone's still hanging around in the top 10. Which I find quite interesting.
I mean, we haven't had a massive release apart from Super Mario Maker.
Like, it's the inverse, I guess, where it's like, because it was such a polarizing game, I don't know, I didn't expect it to be hanging around in the monthly charts, like, because it came out in April.
Yeah, I don't expect it in next month's chart.
Maybe next month, because July. I think it'll drop in August, though.
Yeah.
I think a lot of things are going to suddenly find themselves outside the top 10 from August onwards. There were a few notes. One of them was quite interesting. But there was Crash Team Racing. It was the highest launch month total of any Crash Bandicoot in franchise history. It outsold Crash Bandicoot the Insane Trilogy, but that only debuted on PlayStation 4. Marvel's Spider-Man returned to the top 10, ranking as the 7th best-selling game of the month, and is the 5th best-selling title over the trailing 12-month period. But this is the interesting part. Marvel's Spider-Man is now the best-selling superhero game ever, beating the previous seller Batman Arkham City. Two things stand out for me there. One, congratulations to Spider-Man. It's well-deserved as being the top-selling superhero game of all time. But the second one, I was quite surprised that Arkham City was the best-selling superhero game and not Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight had a lot about reasons.
Wowzers.
So that might take it into account.
Sorry, could you repeat that? You turned into a bit of a robot there.
Sorry about that.
No,
I was saying a lot of people, I mean, there's a lot of bad press about Arkham Knight. A lot of people refunded it, especially on PC. And there was a lot of bad press about it. So it's possible that might be why it's not the most successful.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's just I would have thought, based purely on the fact that it was like the third part of the Arkham trilogy, like, and it was Rocksteady returning to the series after Montreal did Origins and it wasn't well received. But yeah, I remember it wasn't well received because it didn't work, but on PC I had a great time with it. I played it on Xbox though. The top 10 best-selling games of 2019 so far. Keith blinked, so I know he's still there. Number 1, Mortal Kombat 11. Number 2, Kingdom Hearts 3. Number 3, Tom Clancy's The Division 2. Number 4, Anthem. Number 5, Resident Evil 2 2019. Number 6, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Number 7, Days Gone. Number 8, Red Dead Redemption 2. Number 9, MLB 19 The Show. And number 10, Call of Duty Black Ops 4. If you'd asked me in January to make a prediction of what this list would look like 6 months into the year, I don't think I would have said Mortal Kombat 11 and Kingdom Hearts 3 would have been the top 2 best-selling games of 2019. In the first
I mean, I
6
thought
months.
Kingdom Hearts would be definitely on the list.
Oh, top 10. Both games would be in the top 10 for sure. They're beating The Division 2, which is what I would have pegged as being the leader in the first half of 2019. Or
I mean,
Anthem.
Anthem's still up there.
Yeah, Anthem. This is where I was kind of like, where I was kind of coming from with the Arkham Knight, Arkham City thing, where it's like, a lot of people probably bought Anthem, like pre-ordered it, or bought it anyway, or... Like, Anthem and Resident Evil 2 have been the same sort of place, like, pretty much the entire year. Resident Evil 2 is probably sold more, but then this is based on dollar sales value, not on sales numbers.
Yeah.
And Resident Evil 2 is a cheaper game than Anthem. I don't know, it's weird. Sekiro's gone from the top 10. And so is Jump Force. I was really pulling for Jump Force because it did a hell of a lot better than I was expecting it to do. It did better than some of the other games that it released with. I can't think of any more discussion points apart from that.
No.
Off of that. So, I'm bringing a new thing in for NPDs because you always complain that we don't do enough, that you don't get a chance to talk enough. It's predictions game time. Keith, what game will be the best-selling game of July on the NPD? Now, in the interest of fairness, I made a note of the major game releases of July, which were Dragon Quest Builders 2, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, Wolfenstein Youngblood, which is a $30 game, not a $60 game, and Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Now I'm kind of looking at two like Nintendo games here. We've got Dragon Quest Builders 2 or Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Also, before you lock in a prediction, obviously any game that could be at the top doesn't necessarily have to be a game that's come out in July.
Yeah, I mean, I am kind of looking at Mario Maker still going to be up there. If it's not one, it's going to be two. But I'm just trying to figure out of those games that you put there, which one's going to score higher.
Yeah, okay, let's change the question. Which new release from July is going to be the highest? Because I think you're right. I think Mario Maker 2 might be in with a shout of being the best-selling game of July.
The thing is, it's not going to be Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and I don't think it's going to be Wolfenstein.
I think it's going to be Wolfenstein just because of the price point.
Yeah. Fire Emblem's got a bit of a thing behind it, but Dragon Quest is a massive series.
It is, but it's Dragon Quest Builders, not Dragon Quest.
Yeah. I'll go with Fire Emblem.
Okay. Well, we'll check back in about 4 or 5 weeks, and we'll see how that pans out. For the record, I would also go Fire Emblem out of those 4 games, but I think, like I said, I think you're right about Mario Maker potentially being with a big shout of being the actual best-selling game because it came out right at the end of June and didn't appear in the top 10 this time round. And I think I got 2 thoughts mixed up there. Obviously, it did. I think it'll break into the top 10 best-selling games of the year so far. Next up and final, we have Apex Legends will make cheaters play against each other. This is a story from Ian Walker over at Kotaku. He writes, since launching in February Battle Royale, Apex Legends has suffered its share of cheaters. Some are even making good money developing cheats for players to use. The game's developers recently detailed some of the steps it's taking to squash cheating, including a new system that will match non-cheaters into the same games. Cheating is always a concern when it comes to online games, and it can be incredibly frustrating for players in competitive shooters like Apex Legends. There's little you can do against an opponent who has enabled hacks to see through walls and automatically line up headshots. Unscrupulous players continue to be a major pain point for the Apex Legends community, and a recent Reddit check-in from developer Respawn touched on this issue. Quote, we know reports of cheaters, especially in ranked, have been a hot topic, so this week we also wanted to provide a little visibility into some of the work that's been going on behind the scenes to combat cheating, Respawn community manager Jay Frechette explained last Friday. Some of Respawn efforts are common sense, developing new systems to detect cheating, adapting to new cheats, and devoting additional resources to the problem, but one is particularly noteworthy. According to Frechette, Respawn is working on a way to sequester non-cheaters in the same games, almost like their very own cheater battle royale. Popping off automatic headshots against fellow players likely won't be as fun as if it's happening to you. Frechette also mentioned that Apex Legends players will need to make sure they don't party with others who are using hacks, as this will also trip the system and designate them as cheaters. One Reddit user pointed out that inadvertently partying with cheaters is fairly common, so the hope is that Respawn will perform its due diligence before quarantining wide swaths of otherwise law-abiding players. In any case, it seems that any attempt to benefit from third-party hacks will be suppressed. Overall, the move seems popular, with many community members asking for a way to watch these cheater-only matches, perhaps with the names blurred out for privacy reasons. I'd be down for that, like, if they just, like, shoved all the cheaters into one match, I'd be like, I would like to watch that match.
I remember someone's like saying something about like a guy could fly around.
I don't think I've ever encountered a cheater in Apex, but we stopped playing after about a month.
Yeah,
I want to get back into it though. Not like hardcore. Hey, I put out the fucking flare gun and said, "Hey everybody, let's do Overwatch again." I know it sounded like I was swearing there, but I wasn't. I was mimicking a flare gun.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do Overwatch again, and I got like a few, and then silence.
Yeah.
From everybody who isn't sitting next to me on a podcast right now. Like, nobody else had any follow through, so I was like, well, fuck it then. I guess that idea's gone out of the window. Like, so
everything.
So here's the thing. Like, go from Overwatch, which I'll be able to solo queue with you again soon. Duo queue, because Rolllock's going to be a thing. Why don't I just scale back my ambition to Apex Legends, which doesn't require 6 people, it only requires 3. And, 2 and a random, because I've got my MVP over here.
Just needed to load up the support role.
Not even the support role, dude. I don't know if you remember our Apex Legends streams, but you were consistently getting more kills than me and Ross. You were clutching as well. Like,
to be 100% honest, I wouldn't have been able to get those things if you and Russell weren't there. I mean, Russell was a machine at one point. It's just like, okay, he's just like wading down in the water underneath these still buildings, just mowing people down.
I remember that. And we were in the fucking building, just like, oh, what's happening? Oh, shit. It's just like he was popping everybody's heads. Yeah, I do remember that one. But yeah, anyway, yeah. I want to get back into Apex. Not like massively seriously, but just like casually. Because it was a fun game. And it probably still is a fun game. As I said at the beginning of the podcast, I'm a little sick of Resident Evil 2 at this point. Why do people cheat in competitive multiplayer games?
I don't know.
Because I don't understand the mentality of it. Like, congratulations, you won like 10 games in a row. But did you win? Did you win?
I kept skipping the ads. I don't know what it was about, but there was just ads for some computer hardware. So it was like 2 people playing like a multiplayer game, and one of them was like moving like back and forward so fast that the other person couldn't shoot them, or like just wouldn't have been flicking them. It was like, what are you like basically just saying? Oh yeah, use our stuff and you'll be so good that it will be like you're using hacks, or you are using a hacker.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it'd be fun to break the game in like a private lobby of some kind. Like, I remember there was this one time we were playing Halo 2. Oh, we weren't playing it, sorry. We saw a video of someone playing Halo 2. And these guys were defending it. It was capture the flag match, and these guys were like defending, waiting for the other team to come. And then they could hear the Warthogs. They were like, they're driving up. And then the Warthog flew across over their heads. One of the guys fell down and grabbed the flag and then floated back up to the Warthog, which then flew away. And I was like, if that happened to me once, I would be like, I wouldn't be mad. I'd be like, that's hilarious. But like in a private sort of thing, that kind of stuff could be quite funny. But it's just like, we have what, 4, 5 wins from Apex when we were playing it, and like Keith had to work hard to get those wins for us. No, I mean, these were hard fought wins, and they were good, and they were memorable. Like, I can remember like each one of them. Especially one of them because I keep using it every time I talk about battle royales in a video. But it's like, if I was cheating, it would be like, cool, like my card says I have like 100 wins, but it's like, I just don't see the point, because what are the bragging rights? Because I'd still like not be very good at Apex Legends. Um, like, it's an interesting solution that Respawn have come up with. Like, to just put them all in a match. That would, like, because like, can you even can cheaters ever actually be stopped? Like, I know you can ban accounts and you can shut down sites and
yeah, if you can, if the player base can hack the game to get instant headshots and like see through walls and like leap over more buildings in a single bound, what's to stop them hacking their way out of this private lobby that they're going to get from?
I don't know. I mean, they'd have to figure out they were in one first.
Yeah, I would imagine after a couple of games they would realise.
That guy's fucking cheating. You're cheating. That's not the point. Shut up. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It just like I mean, just in general, like online competitive multiplayer games, it's like you can't really stop. You're never gonna be able to stop the signal. Wait, no, that's Firefly. You're never gonna be able to stop people cheating. Like at all, like because like as long as there are games and there's code to be manipulated, someone will always do it. And that kind of sucks because as someone who's been on the receiving end of a lot of cheaters in my time of playing out online competitive multiplayer games, it fucking sucks to see it. Unfortunately, at least we're away from the days of the lag switch. They were a fucking nightmare. Keith, games out this week. Take it away.
Games out this week.
Yeah, I've just wholly given you this whole section.
The whole section. So, starting on July 22nd, we have Beyond Two Souls for PC. The next day, we have Tetris Effect on PC for the Rift and Dive. That's the 23rd. Then we have EA Access PS4 launch on July the 24th. When did the original one on Xbox come out?
It was years ago now. I've had it for years.
Yeah.
Because I had at least Mass Effect Andromeda, because I remember using it for that.
Yeah. Anyway. The next we have Killer Kill. If PC, PS4 and Switch on July the 25th. Then we have Wolfenstein Youngblood on PC, PS4, Xbox One, Switch on the 26th. On the 26th, we also have Wolfenstein Cyberpilot on the Vive, PS, and VR. And then we have Fire Emblem Three Houses coming on the Switch for July the 26th, which we suspect may be very high up.
Very popular.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm looking forward to it. They've changed quite a bit about it from what I've seen, because a lot of people have been putting out their sort of impressions of the game. So like an impressions embargo got lifted on Monday last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I think someone, I can't remember who it was, saw like 2 or 3 people talking about it. Someone was basically saying it's like anime meets Game of Thrones meets Harry Potter. And I was like, that's an interesting combination, especially when they went further and stipulated that the anime part of it is just like the fan service and not actually like anything. Like it's more like Game of Thrones meets Harry Potter with the occasional like low cut top or ridiculous character. And I was like, okay, cool, I'm down for that. Like, let's do it. Keith blinked again. So you get very still sometimes, and I worry.
Yeah. No, I just checked it once, I think, and I couldn't find what I was looking for. I was doing a bit of research before on to see why GTA 5 was still in the charts on the NPD. But everyone's like, "Oh, it's such a great game." It's like it's such a great game, but it's been out for too long. There's something weird going on. There's some magic. There's some voodoo.
Well, don't forget it does have an online mode that's insanely popular. Which will be contributing to its continued sales dominance. Where's Breath of the Wild though? That's what I don't get. That was like Metacritic and user scored to be like the best game ever fucking made or some shit.
I mean, I'm one of the few people who own a Switch who don't own the game.
Oh, I don't own it. I know, and I gave it a 7 out of 10 because we did review scores when that game came out, and I gave it a 7, and that wasn't apparently smart. Because 7 apparently means trash fire. And weirdly enough, not long after that happened, we stopped doing review scores.
Yeah.
Go figure. Almost like they were pointless. Keith, thank you very much for joining me. That was our episode 167 of the Words About Gamescast. I don't really have anything else to say. That was cool. Slow news week. Probably be another slow one next week. And for the next few weeks, I'd imagine. Until it all kicks into high gear. But, yeah. Say bye, Keith.
Bye-bye.